What's new, crew? If you're new, my name's Cassandra. Today we're obviously out in the garage in the deep freezer. Recently we cleaned out one of my freezers and put everything out of that freezer because we were replacing it into this freezer. And I figured today I would take through and show you guys some of my favorite convenience items that I make here on the Homestead or from scratch to put in the freezer as my own kind of convenience items, things that maybe, like, we all have busy days, right? You're walking through the frozen section at the grocery store and going, okay, I'm gonna grab a bag of this and a bag of that, and we're gonna go home and throw it in the oven and be done. I make some of those items myself, or some convenience items. I wanna go through that today with you guys, give you guys some ideas and some inspiration on what you can make ahead of time, put in the freezer. It doesn't have to be always full-blown freezer meals. Sometimes they can just be side dishes and items that you can put in your freezer to make your life a hair bit easier on busy nights, days where you need some help, or maybe you're sick or whatever, life, right? And you can come out to your freezers and pull those things out. No canning involved, nothing like that, just bacon and freezing. So I'm gonna turn the camera around, we're gonna dig through this mess of a chest freezer, and I'm gonna show you guys some of those items just to give you guys some ideas on what you can put in your. Try my best. Normally this freezer is not this full, but like I said, we put a lot of things in here that normally would not be in here because we were replacing that freezer. So we are going to talk about some things. We just did these together. This video just went up I think on Wednesday. These are all homemade potato wedges. So if you want to see how I got these in the freezer, we can do that. I can link that video down below for you. I have 8 bags of potato wedges here. We use these as French fries. So great. My kids love them. We put a ton of different seasonings on them that the kids like. Sometimes it's just salt, sometimes it's garlic salt, sometimes it's chives and Parmesan cheese and a little bit of salt. So good. And sometimes we just leave them plain. Little seasoned salt, keeping it simple. But these I always try to have in my freezer because the kids absolutely love them, and they take a little bit of time to throw together on just like a normal day. They have to soak for about 45 minutes before I can bake them in some cold water to get the starches off so they crisp up nicely. So these are a nice thing to have in the freezer already ready to go. The other things that I absolutely love to have in here, I just got back into my sourdough game. This is a sourdough loaf I made when I was just starting out my sourdough. It wasn't a very proofy, gorgeous, puffed up loaf. It was kind of flat, it's pretty dense, but this is cinnamon and sugar. We're gonna use this cinnamon sugar loaf for things like French toast throughout this winter, and I can just pull this out a couple slices at a time to make French toast for the kids. They're gonna absolutely love that. Another thing, you guys actually taught me this. You guys can freeze rice. And this is actually frozen Chinese takeout. We got this and we just didn't go through it. So I thought, you know what a better time to try that. I haven't eaten this yet, but if you're walking through the frozen section at the grocery store, you will find frozen rice and things in different meal kits and whatnot. So I think it's gonna be fantastic. So I'm excited to give this one a go. This is also some sourdough bread with just some garlic salt and cheese on top. This is great to dip in grilled cheese and tomato soup type thing, but just tomato soup. The kids will dip this in pizza sauce sometimes. If I were to throw these in the oven to like heat them up, get the cheese melty, maybe I could top them with some pepperoni and the kids could dip them in pizza sauce. So there's options here, but this was just leftovers that the kids didn't eat through, so I put it in a bag and put it in the freezer. This is a huge one. I always try to have these in the freezer. These are cookie dough balls. You can do this with pretty much any cookie recipe. Make your cookie dough, roll them into balls, put them in the freezer. These are fantastic. These saved my butt recently. They're just really nice to have. And leading up onto the holidays, I'll do this with a ton of different cookie doughs. Next couple of weeks, I will make a batch of cookies every couple of days, essentially, and I'll take about half of that cookie dough and put it in the freezer. That way, when it comes time for the holidays and I want to make like a cookie sample tray for when we're hosting or to give out as gifts or something, I can have, like, I can come out to my freezer and grab like 3 oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, 3 oatmeal raisin cookies, some peanut butter cookies, some peanut butter M&M cookies, and I can bake it all on one sheet. but have like 4 or 5 different types of cookies and then have a variety of a cookie tray. Absolutely love to do that. It is a home run. People were asking me recently when I was asking for Vlogmas ideas for make ahead dessert trays for going to Christmas events. That would be a huge one. Make your cookie doughs ahead of time, the day before the event, you know, the night before your event. Make your cookies, put it on a plate, a tray, wrap it in saran wrap. It's something you could easily take into the office with you, and it'll be ready to go for your Christmas party if you have to go right after work or whatever. And it's a great way. You can make 2 or 3 of them, bring them from event to event to event, because we all know how that goes. It's fantastic. Go to the Dollar Tree, get one of those $1 plastic saucers. That way, if you want to leave the event and you want to leave the cookies there, you can just leave it there on the cheap tray. You don't even have to worry about it. That's my tip from me to you. Heading back into the freezer here. A bread loaf. I just rolled it into a loaf, put it in the freezer. It'll be ready to proof and bake as we want fresh bread, and I won't have to dirty my kitchen or anything for it, which is great. This is sloppy Joe meat. I labeled my bag here. This was probably leftovers as well that we just didn't eat through. And it goes in the freezer for a day where I just need to dump it in a saucepan, heat it up, top it with some buns, and we'll be good to go. Now these are some of my absolute staples. These are meatloafs. So I have a meatloaf here. This is a veggie packed meatloaf. So it has shredded carrots, peppers, onions, kind of whatever I can stuff in here, right? And then instead of breadcrumbs, I use a box of stuffing mix, and it's a stuffing meatloaf. It is so good. The kids love it. Absolutely fantastic. I always try to have 1 or 2 of these in here. These are stuffing meatballs, which are essentially kind of the same thing as the meatloaf, except there's not vegetables in here. It's just the meat that I used and a box of stuffing mix. You roll that up, and then we will eat these over either mashed potatoes, rice. They're pretty good over pasta too, I'm not gonna lie. And then we will top them with like a brown gravy or a turkey gravy. So good. These are fantastic. I have a couple bags of those. And then I like to have some regular meatballs in here, which are just like plain meatballs that can go for spaghetti and meatballs, meatball subs, things like that. So you can see, I try to keep a couple bags of these. I tend to do like a big day where I will do a ton of meatloaves, a ton of meatballs, and a ton of burger patties. I'll do them all at once, put them in the freezer, and then I have those convenience items for me for months at a time. I'm actually out of burger patties right now, so I need to go ahead and get more of those pressed. Another thing I love to have in here is pizza crust. It is fantastic to be able to just pull this out in the morning, let it proof, and we can have pizzas or strombolis or calzones for dinner, lunch, whatever. Another convenience item I absolutely love are to have dough balls for rolls, dinner rolls. Absolutely love it. I can pull a bag of these out with maybe some meatballs, and we can do sliders. We can do tiny meatball sub sandwiches on just some rolls. So I love to have that stuff to be able to just pull out, let it proof. It's good to go. I don't have to dirty my kitchen, and we can still have home cooked meals that aren't full of like preservatives and yucky things, and they're just delicious. I have a couple things in this freezer too, I think. Another thing here, these are full sourdough breads. I can just bake. Sometimes I bake like 2 or 3 loaves at a time. I can just throw one in the freezer and I can pull it out. It'll be good to go for whatever we need it for. This is a little bit of an honorable mention, but I don't make these. I can make these, but these ones we purchased. These are pasties we get from a local pasty shop. If you don't know what pasties are, they're really big in Michigan. We live really close to the UP. My husband is originally from there. And it's basically just potatoes, meat, and some vegetables, depending on what you get, all wrapped in like a little pie crust. They're like little hand pies. These, this one is a Denver, which is like eggs, potatoes, sausage, bacon, bell peppers. They're so good. My husband picks these up from frozen from the pasty shop, and we got these for Thanksgiving time. This is my favorite. It's just beef and cabbage. Dip this in gravy. So delicious. And what else do we have in here? Okay, this one's sausage. This one is just gonna be eggs and sausage. So delicious. We got another one in here. This is another sausage. So they're so good. We buy these from the pasty shop frozen. We just throw them in the oven and they're good to go. But we got these ones for Thanksgiving breakfast. So delicious. And we'll do the same thing for Christmas morning, probably. But I wanted to mention that because that is an option as well. Sometimes I would make those myself, like I said, but those ones were purchased. Here are some full-on freezer meals. I think everybody knows freezer meals are fantastic. These are all cabbage rolls. We packaged these up together a couple weeks ago, but some of my other favorite freezer meals to completely have assembled and in the freezer are things like lasagnas, stuffed shells, like casseroles. We have a tater tot casserole that my family really likes that a lot of the times I'll prep and put in the freezer. My husband works full-time. He is a pipe fitter / welder. He does both. He's certified in both. But my husband also teaches the class through like the apprenticeship holds to be able to get your journeyman's license. He teaches those classes. Last year my husband only taught one class, so after already working his like 40, 50, 60 hour week, depending on the time of, depending on where he's working, like the location in which he's working. My husband will also teach classes. Last year it was 1 night a week. This coming year it's gonna be 2 nights a week because he's teaching 2 classes. So that being said, 2 nights a week for 11 weeks. I'm gonna be on my own from the second we wake up to the time we go to bed, because my husband's gonna be working full-time and then teaching that class. So we're gonna have some full-on freezer meals going on in the freezers, prepping for that. So I would love to have 22 meals in the freezer for 2 nights a week for 11 weeks. That's 22 meals ready in my freezer. That way on those nights I can just pull something out. It'll be easy cleanup. Just I don't have to worry about dinner on top of baths, school activities, homework, all of that stuff. At least dinner will be something I don't even have to worry about. So that will be coming up probably toward the end of December, beginning of January. We're gonna rock out some of those meals. I love dump and go crock pot meals. I love to have bags of homemade soup in the freezer. I won't actually cook the soup, but I love to have everything assembled. That way I can just dump it into like an Instant Pot or a crock pot or something and just let it go all day. So that is coming up because I'm gonna need some of those in my life, January, February, and into March for sure. But that being said, I just want to give you guys a quick view at some of my freezer items. Things I don't have in here right now that I normally do, like I said, would be burger patties, maybe muffins, pancakes, French toast, waffles, things like that. But those are just some honorable mentions and just what I have in my freezers right now for convenience meals. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I hope wherever you are, you're having a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.